Hello guys, welcome back to the channel once again. Today I'm super mega excited to share this video with you guys. I actually watched this couple a while back and I haven't got the opportunity to do a review yet. So before we get into further details, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's go.
Doesn't it?
I didn't see that.
What about Francis?
She'll be fine.
As soon as you sneeze. The sort of married him in the pig pen. And he was a chatty catty.
God, I'm really trying not to.
So basically the series is called Mary and George. I feel like this season actually came out, if I'm not mistaken, at the beginning of the year or the beginning of last year. Correct me if I'm wrong. So it follows the story of Mary in this case, who is trying to, convert her son to be, the lover of King James the First. And by that, them becoming more richer, they're becoming more influential family than that the whole England have ever seen. So Mary is basically on around it, very determined to make it and to make it big and become more richer, more successful through this plan that she has actually set up. So this is how basically it is, that's the story, that's the plot, and that's how everything developed, and that's how everything actually goes. So my main focus was to speak about the relationship that actually developed between Mary and Sandie, because this is the most important focus of the series, because the series actually debate a lot of topics, and one of them is the relationship between Sandie and Mary. So how does the two meet and how does their story develop? So basically Mary develops a romantic relationship with Sandie, who's actually a P. Hopefully you guys understand what I'm trying to say. After meeting her at the brothel, Sandie becomes Mary close confidant and they develop a romantic and intimate connection. For Mary, the relationship with Sandie is not transactional. She seeks companionship and basically intimacy from her. So how do they get together? So basically you can see that, Mary, she goes to the brothel. She met, in this case, Sandie. She's very, you can also see at the very beginning that Sandie is actually the one that's trying to pursue Mary, because she was surprised to see her there at her workplace. So at the beginning, you can see that Mary was playing games and said like, no, I'm not interested, until one day, in this case, Mary actually ends up showing up at the door of, in this case, Sandie, and Sandie was surprised. She actually came with money, and obviously she got the services that she wanted. And after that night that they spent together, they basically just been locked in as friendship, as companionship. And obviously, Sandie, she isn't dumb. She knew that Mary seeked her for a reason. She knew that Mary went to seek for her for a reason. She just didn't go there because she wanted to spend some quality time with her. That's where, in this case, you can clearly see that in this case, Mary actually tells Sandie what is her plan. And obviously, Sandie was like, hey, I knew you came here for a reason. And Sandie was okay with the plan. Sandie was like, okay, that's what you want to do. Let's do it. Because Sandie knows if Mary wins some way, somehow, she will also get a lot of benefits from it, from the situation, by involving the king. And like I said at the beginning of the video. So that's how the two actually get together. They're on a mission, but you can slowly start to see that there's a lot of things that Sandie start not to like about, Mary and her family, especially when it comes to her son, because once, Sandie, she was in a situation where she saw, in this case, Mary's son basically harming, in this case, John harming a woman, and obviously she wasn't happy with that. So she approached Mary and was like, hey, I saw your son did this and this, that. And you can see that Mary somewhere, somehow, she was covering for her son, saying that the girl that he hurt, she will get compensation. So there was a lot of things going already on, that Sandie wasn't happy with when it comes to Mary's situation and her family and all of that. But as time progressed, you can see that Sandie was trying to pull herself away from Mary, but it was very hard because Mary always gave her so much reassurance and also support and love, was also very caring and very romantic towards her. So it was very hard for her also to let that side go. But later on, things got a little bit more complicated as the season progressed, because you can see that the tension starts to rise. There's a lot of things that goes on, before it actually gets to that point. And the point that it actually gets to is that, unfortunately, you can basically see that in this case, Sandie, she was sentenced to prison for elimination that she didn't commit, an elimination that George actually committed. So she went to, incarceration, and you can see she was just destroyed. She was really distraught about it. But Mary always gave her reassurance like, hey, I'm going to get you out. Stay patient. You're going to get through this. Don't panic. I got you. You are not alone. Just being that very strong strong, supportive system. But it was also very difficult for Mary because she knows she has a lot of involvement some way, somehow on a evil or not so evil. Or it's just a very complex situation when it comes to George. So the fact that her lover went to prison for elimination that George committed, it was very hard for her because it was like, what do I do? What do I do in this position? Knowing that I can lose this person that I care for so much, but also there's this whole situation with George. So it's a lot. So as the season progresses, you can see that the fact that Sandie actually was incarcerated, that we played a very, very big dilemma on her. Like, you can see that Sandie was distraught. She couldn't believe that she was in the situation. She started to feel guilty, basically saying, like, maybe in her mind, like, if I wasn't involved with Mary, I wouldn't be here today. All of this is happening to me because I got close to her, and now I feel like I'm the one that's getting triggered because they cannot go after Mary, so now I am the one that have to pay for things. So it's a whole dilemma. So that as the episodes progress, you can actually see that unfortunately, Sandie actually got eliminated because she was gonna go out and tell the truth about everything that happened. And obviously, George wasn't happy when he found out about that. The fact that Sandie will go out and basically say, the whole situation, the whole truth. And obviously, he did what he did, and he basically ended up eliminating, in this case, Sandie. Obviously, you can see that Mary was basically heartbroken. She couldn't make sense of things. She was confused. She was lost. She was heartbroken. She couldn't understand, but also at the same time she could, because she knew, like, I could have done better to prevent this. I didn't. She felt guilty. So it was a lot of emotions going on also for Mary, for in this fact basically losing Sandie, a woman that she really, really fell in love with. And even though they had the differences and they had different ways of seeing things, you can see that there was a genuine connection between the two. And the fact that, they couldn't live their love to the fullest because of this unfortunate elimination is very, very sad. So yes, that's the story of the two. If you guys would want more information, I would highly recommend you all to go to Netflix. It actually has one season available, and if I'm not mistaken, 7 episodes. Correct me if I'm wrong. And you can actually say that they actually do get a lot, not a lot, I would say a fair amount of camera time when it comes to their storyline as well. So it's cute, and also it's sad at the same time for the way it ended. And in the last episode, you can see when, Mary, she gets that thought of Sandie, it's just heartbroken. It's heartbroken. But it is what it is. Once again, a lesbian couple that don't have a happy ending, I feel like at this point it's just normal. It's just something that we have to adapt to. We get maybe say 2 happy couples, and then we get like 8 7 unhappy couples with unhappy endings, and this is one of them. But I still feel like the story is very cute until the very end. But yes, guys, let's see if there will be a season 2, and let's see if maybe in season 2 Mary will get another love interest. And hopefully if she does, because she's also married in this case, it would be, a woman. So yes, guys, that's basically it. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Until the next video, and goodbye.